the Klarus XT11S. Let's check it out. Light is your #1 security tool. It illuminates the dark, and it's something you're going to use far more than any other weapon, whether it's a firearm, a knife, or anything else. Even on your person, having a good tactical flashlight is important, and a good quality flashlight. There's a lot of cheap lights out there. There's a lot of expensive lights that may not hold up, and that's one of the things about the Klarus XT11. These have never let me down. And so today we're going to take a look at a new version of the XT11 by Klarus. It's the XT11S, and this baby has a lot of cool features. I carry a small S1 Olight baton, and those are excellent. But guys, I'm telling you, for my tactical light, I really prefer the Klarus. This is the XT11S, as I've stated, and here is the original XT11. This was really from the XT10, which was an excellent light. And I've had this ever since it came out. This is one light that I keep right in my safe, next to one of my defensive firearms. And one of the reasons why this light stays there is because every time I pick this light up, it comes on. Other lights that I have, sometimes even good quality lights, they don't seem to hold the charge like the Klarus. And because of that, it's given me a lot of confidence with the XT11. Now, over the years, I've done quite a few flashlight reviews. And I'll tell you guys, the Klarus to me is the light that I depend on for my tactical self-defense situations. It just functions, and that's been tested for a long time. And there are a number of different lights in the Klarus XT11 series, but I think that the new XT11S is something to really consider. It is an aluminum body, which really is a must. The electronics in here, and we're going to look at it when we open it up, are just exceptional. I mean, there's a lot of different features on here. But one of the big things about this light that I really like is that it has its standard tail switch, which has a press pad here, and then it has a little paddle. One of the things about having a tactical light is having it back here as a tail cap switch is super important, because you can get your hand back here as you're holding the light. And a lot of times there are a lot of lights. In fact, I have EDC lights that have a press pad, you know, on the side body mount. But this is really better for a tactical situation. Now, one of the things about this press pad, which one thing I want to explain though, is that this is a really simple system. So don't get confused and don't get dulled, because you really need to know some of these details. With the press pad, it's just momentary on by just a press or a click, and it's constant on. With the pad back here, or the paddle, it's instant strobe. Now, one of the great things about that is you know immediately which is which. You feel the rubber here is tactile, and then you can feel the small little paddle. This gives you instant capability, especially in a self-defense situation, which is critical. Now, if you have the light already on, which this light has 1100 lumens in turbo. If you have the light already on, you can go through the modes by just clicking the pad once the light's on. And so that makes it really simple. And then just click off, and there's a memory setting, so when you turn it back on, it's back to that setting. But Klarus didn't stop there. There's also a side switch right here. So you have the capability of having a side switch. So if you're carrying it in this mode right here, a side switch is just awesome to have. And then of course you can see that you can just go through your modes here. And then to turn it off though, you've got to click that rear button. This is to me the best of both worlds. Now let's go through our mode settings. first, of course, is 1100 lumens. This is in turbo. Click again. Then we have 400 lumens at 4 hours. Click again, 100 lumens, and that's at 18 hours. And then 10 lumens at 260 hours. So that's going to give you quite a bit. In fact, that's over 10 days at this setting. So, and then you're back to your turbo setting. Now, you can't click off using this setting. So we have to go back here and press our pad, and then we go straight to turbo, click again, and it goes off. And now, with the rear setting, we go obviously to the 1100 lumens, and then we press the pad and drop it down to 400, and then drop it down to 10. It skips the 100 lumen setting. Click it again and you're back in business. We're going to click it off. Now again, with the strobe setting, now guys, if you're sensitive to strobe, and I've had some messages about not warning people, I'm going to give you a warning. We're going to hit strobe, and it is at 1100 lumens, so it is really bright. If you hold it longer than 2 seconds, it will stay. So it's momentary, but then if you hold it down more than 2 seconds, it'll stay in that setting. Now there are 3 different settings that you can go through, and I'm not going to go through each of them because it's going to get really boring quickly, but we just went through the tactical assault setting, and it's geared more for, you know, being able to get that light instant with turbo, getting that strobe instant, and being able to do the same with this front light as well. Now we do have a tactical setting that you can program. It's a classical tactical setting, and then we have an outdoor setting just for outdoorsmen. So there's so many different features with this light. Now one of the things that is important is when you're in the dark, you inadvertently hit this, you don't want for this to come on in certain situations. So there is a lockout setting, and what we do is we just hold it, and then when it clicks twice, we let go, and this is disabled. If you want to reactivate that side setting, just hit it 3 times. Alright, here we are at 1100 lumens, and it says 325 meters. We're at about 200 yards up to the top of that hill, maybe a little farther. The brightness, there's a nice spill, and then there's a solid beam. Makes it, this whole area is just lit up. Now we're going to go down. This is the 400 lumens. Now we have the 100 lumens. Up close, it's good. You can see the reflectors. And now we're at 10 lumens. And up close here you can see, I mean, this gives you a lot of light for up close and personal. And really I can see a spotlight. You can see it out there. There's a small spotlight, and it does brighten things up. And then of course we go back to turbo. When we go straight to strobe, just hit the paddle and you're on strobe. And that is 1100 lumens. So this flashlight is definitely adequate for anything you could need. I mean, it's really going to brighten up whatever you're looking for. Search and rescue, tactical situations. This is good to go. So there are a lot of different features with this light. You can program it to whatever you want to. Now guys, don't get scared. Some guys will say, well, that's just too much. Set it to the setting you want to use and just stick with it. I mean, there are certain things that I do. If you're a professional, you want to get into all the details. Or if you're just a flashlight guy that loves flashlights. For your average guy, though, because this is so versatile and you can hit your modes, you can go straight to either one. It's just a very easy flashlight to use. It's 5.5 inches in length, has a 1-inch body. The head is 1 3/8 inch, and it weighs 5.8 ounces with the battery installed. Now let's take a look at the battery. It does use an 18650, which really is great because you can recharge these. And that's one of the big things about this light, is there is a recharging port and a little cover right here. So you can actually charge this light with the battery in place, whether it's in your vehicle or wherever you are. Even if you have a battery bank that you carry with you, you can keep this light charged. Now the components have springs on both the front and the back, and that's going to help with shock resistance. And it's also going to give you a really positive light. That's one of the things about this too, is the lockout feature is not by just pulling this back, which some lights will do that. You can just pull this and it'll lock it out. But this does not have that because of the springs, the dual springs on either connection. Now included is your charging cable. These are covered, and of course this is USB. You can put it in your computer, you can put it in different adapters that will fit USB. You have a small rubberized boot you just lift up. You don't want to pull this off because it'll come loose. You want to keep this with the flashlight. Insert it in, and then you put this to whatever USB connector that you have, whether it's a computer, battery bank, or whatever. And that way you can keep your light charged. But that is a great feature. And one of the things too, right here, this is your battery indicator. So if the light is on, you can see that it is green, and it goes down to yellow and then down to red, which means that it needs to be recharged. Now the 18650 is my pick because you can just recharge this over and over. But you can put in two CR123s, and I have it just in one of these generic sleeves, and it works as well. And it would be great to have the CR123s as a backup if you need it. There are protections if you put the battery in wrong. There's also an overheat technology. If these get too hot, it'll drop the setting down to kind of cool it off, because LEDs they do get very warm. Another thing about a self-defense light, to me, is a crenulated bezel. We have a stainless steel crenulated bezel with the aluminum. Of course, that's a beautiful hard anodized finish. They hold up really well. This does, though, come off, and it's removable. Now, one thing I want to mention about this is, in a self-defense situation, flashlights are used more than a knife or a gun. And they did some studies with that, and the big thing about a flashlight is this is something you can grab hold of and use as a weapon. And it is obviously a non-lethal weapon. You can also use the tail cap area with these raised areas right here. Putting that against a cheekbone or in different areas and pressure points, you can really get somebody off of you quickly or neutralize an attacker. And because of the size of this light, it really lends itself. If you're, a lot of times I carry small little pocket lights, and they're great. But for a self-defense situation, this is a much better option. With the crenulated bezel, it makes a very effective self-defense tool. Being able to hit someone in certain points, this really is effective. And if somebody's on you and this is what you have, you'll be glad to have it. But they also offer crenulated attack bezels. So you can apply this right to your light, and you can go with a more aggressive, and in fact I think this is the aggressive strike bezel is what it's called. And this just screws right on, and now you have a formidable self-defense option. Upgrade to the aggressive bezel, and this definitely will leave a mark. Some people even sharpen these to really increase the option of self-defense, but this will do the job. And these are available at Going Gear separately. It has a nice smooth reflector, and the mineral glass has an anti-glare property to it that's toughened. The LED is a Cree XPL V3, and the life on the LED is 50,000 hours. Because of the dual connector springs for the battery, this is very shock resistant, and it'll go up to at least rated at 1 meter, and then also it's IPX8, which means that it's waterproof up to 2 meters. This is IPX8, so that means it can go up to 2 meters in water, and it doesn't really give a time, but usually about 30 minutes. With the recharging port though, it's really impressive that this is IPX8. But I've had this in the pool for a good bit, no problems, and it just keeps on shining. With the light you get a stainless steel clip, you get a combat ring, O-ring, your charging cable, a lanyard, and also a really nice Kadura little sheath. And of course you get the instructions, and all the details about the light and how to change all the modes are in here. Now there's a bazillion different type flashlight mounts. One of my favorites is the Arsenal machine mounts. They're very small, minimal, and it does have the key mod, the M-lock, and just a standard. Plus they're the old Magpul, different ones, and they're just a lot of different lights and mounts, and so it's really just your choice how you want to mount the light. Now the Klarus XT11S is available at Going Gear. In fact, I want to thank Marshall for sending this for the review. They're $79.95 on the Going Gear website. You get a 10% discount using Suit00 when you check out, and that's on any of whatever you order at Going Gear. We've been doing this for a long time, and the guys at Going Gear are just great. And if you decide to get the strike bezel, it's $17.95, which I think is a great option. As far as anything that I find negative, all the controls can be confusing. I mean, they're simple, but because of this side switch, you know, there's a little bit of, well, how am I going to set it up? But once you get it set up, you're done. The price is right. I mean, $79.99, you can't beat that. Being rechargeable from the directly to the flashlight is a huge advantage. So Klarus has made itself a pretty good reputation for being good. I personally, again, have had really good success with the Klarus flashlights. For an everyday use, it's going to be a little large, and but this is for certain applications. And don't forget, light is your #1 security tool. Hoorah! So the Klarus XT11S, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. You can really count on is priority. Okay, we're gonna go through our, now let's go through our mode settings, and we're gonna also include the, I mean, this really comes in handy to whop somebody upside the head. An old shooting dummy, he's staying right there on guard. That's kind of scary when you walk up on him. Of course, here's a Tac Cat, he always with me when I do my light reviews. Let's see how I like strobe.